What's up guys, Garrett with SelfTaughtDev. Today we're looking at some questions from Reddit and giving video answers, because if you know me, you know that I don't like typing out answers. I prefer video answers or just like voice communication, I guess. If you need to come join the SelfTaughtDev subreddit, it is r/selftaughdev. I'll have a link to that in the description as well. And let's get going. So first one up here, inputs HTML. This is a guy who's basically making videos of his coding journey as he tries to become a developer, which I highly encourage you to do. I think the guy who hired me at my first job said my YouTube channel was a big factor in me getting a job. It's also great to promote yourself and help meet other devs and just kind of network. So if you're a guy, if you're trying to become a developer, I highly suggest also making a YouTube channel. It doesn't have to be high quality. You don't have to invest in a good mic or a good camera. If you go back to the beginning of my channel, it was me literally holding a camera or talking on my phone, and it wasn't even sideways video. It was like what is it? It's not landscape. Landscape's the sideways one, right? It was the upright video, so it didn't even take up the full screen on YouTube. It was just horrible recording. But you don't have to have high quality stuff to do this or to start YouTube. You can start small and then build up over time. But I mean, if you do it, just make sure it's something you're consistent with, because consistency is a big key. Maybe just do it like once a week like I do, maybe once every other week, once a month. Honestly, once a month might be too little if you're just doing it to try to help network and get a job, but highly encourage it. Anyway, something he talks about in there is he built a project, and most of the project was like just him following along someone else who built the project, and he wants to know if that's cheating or not. I do consider it like a little bit. It's not like cheating, right? Because like you're not taking a test. What happens is I don't know if this is like a real psychological term or not, but I call it shallow learning when you build a project along with somebody else. That kind of lets you see what you can do with the language, in his case, HTML and CSS. And it just kind of like shallowly ingrains it in your brain. And if you go back like 2 or 3 days later or a week or two, and you have to try and build that project on your own without the video, you won't be able to do it. In most cases, maybe you do have a really good memory and you could be able to, but from what I've seen, most people aren't able to ingrain the knowledge deeply enough to where they could go back and build that project 2 or 3 weeks later. So it's good, like following along with somebody else while they're coding is good. If you're taking, I'd recommend taking notes. Whenever you're learning to code, I recommend anything you do, like any learning tools you're using, whether it's like building a project when you're following along or just doing courses to learn the syntax, I recommend taking notes. That way, when you do build your own projects, you can like refer back to your notes and find the answers. I found that going back through your notes and like finding the answer in your notes, this might just be me too, so take it with a grain of salt. It helped me remember that stuff. It helped me with the recall ability of that a lot better than Googling something and finding the answer on Google and then putting it in. I forget what it is. There's something I come across in JavaScript, and every time I do, I have to Google the answer because I don't put any effort into trying to remember what the answer is. I just Google it, find the answer because I know where it is on Stack Overflow, and then implement it. Whereas if I would just probably sit there for like 5 minutes and just like think and try to remember the answer to that, and if I actually remember the answer to it, I'd probably get deeper, it'd get more ingrained in my memory, and I probably wouldn't have to Google it next time I found that. I'm kind of rambling, but if you're following along with a video when you're building a project, you're not going to learn as much as you would if you build the project alone. So if you do go follow along a video tutorial while you're building a project, build something on your own after that's like a modified version of that. Like if you're building like some, like Free Code Camp has some form project, right? If you're building that Free Code Camp form and you're following a video or following along with a video, cool. But then after you're done with that, go build another form for, I don't know, just make it like a e-commerce form. So like you're putting in like the product you want to buy, you're putting in your billing information, you're putting in your shipping information, your name and contact information, that sort of thing. Go and build stuff on your own afterwards, because that's going to ingrain that knowledge a lot deeper into your memory than just watching a tutorial and coding alongside it. So that's a long enough answer for that one. On to the next one. I think I talked about that in another video, so we're going to skip that one. 3 months of dev. Yeah, I talked about those. having trouble landing interviews. I'm not sure if I'm going to talk about this one, but if you are having trouble landing interviews, feel free to shoot me your resume. My email is in the description, and I will include that in the next resume review video I do. Big things with resume, it's just one, consistency. So like if you have bullet points about what you did for a job and the first letter is capitalized, make sure the first letter on all of them is capitalized. If you have periods at the end of some of those bullet points, make sure there's periods at the end of all of those bullet points. Make sure spacing is consistent. Consistency is just a big thing with your resume. You don't want to have one bullet point formatted this way, the next bullet point formatted a completely different way. I see that a lot on resumes people send me. And also, if you do send me your resume and I don't put it in the video, just assume that I didn't have any feedback for you and I think it's a pretty decent resume. Or if you just want to get my resume template, the one I used when I was applying to jobs before I had any tech experience. So this is just like me and the projects I've built on the resume. Look in the description. I will have a place you can go to get my resume template as well. And then this guy just hasn't responded yet. We asked what his resume looked like, but oh wait, he said message me so I could share it 5 days ago. Whoop, missed that. All right. I might go back and try to get him to do that. Might forget. Guidance. Have I answered this one yet? I don't think I've answered this one yet. Start applying. His goal is to start applying to companies by the end of the year. And he's a 23-year-old male nursing student. Dropout, was let go from the program in December and eventually came to the conclusion that I wanted to pursue software engineering career. Would end up taking almost 3 years if I went back to university. Yeah, I discourage anyone from going to university if you want to be a developer. You don't need to do that anymore. It's a waste of time. The opportunity cost of 3 to 4 years and then like learning stuff that has nothing to do with computer science, because you're probably going to have to do like English classes and like the literature and stuff that has nothing to do with code. And then also on top of that, like some of the stuff you're going to learn is, I don't know what I was supposed to say there. Outdated. Yeah, there we go. You like the biggest benefits I see to going to college are, one, networking. If you are very social and you make a good social, like a network, that can help. I don't know if that makes it worth the 4 years of going to college though. And then two, the mindset around programming you get might be beneficial as well, but I still don't think that outweighs the 4 years that you have to spend doing that. Like it took me 8 months of studying on my own to get a job at a startup. Granted, it was low paying and I just had to work my way up from there, but now I'm working at a financial institution making 6 figures. So like you can do this without going to college. Anyway, back to this thing. I'm just mentally exhausted from college and for paying for it. Yeah, see, that's my points again. I am heavily interested in crypto space and decided I want to work in that. Yeah, if you want to work in crypto space, I mean, just like go watch YouTube videos on how to build crypto stuff. I was talking to a guy in the sauna the other day and he works, I don't know if I want to say where he works, but he says he's working on, I think it was Carvana maybe, or something with artists, music, and NFTs, where the artists could make their songs into NFTs. And that's like what Gary Vaynerchuk was saying NFTs would, like one of the main purposes of NFT, or not NFTs. Was it NFTs? Yeah, NFTs. But anyway, I gotta stop getting distracted and read this. The end goal would be to work as a blockchain dev. I figure I can't work in that until I'm a software engineer with some experience. That's probably accurate. I mean, you could probably do some like freelance stuff, build a portfolio up of blockchain stuff, and then probably find freelance projects to work on as that with in the blockchain realm. And then after you get some freelance experience, you could probably apply to places that need blockchain developers and get those jobs, because you have the experience of building freelance stuff that you can point to. But the path he's going down seems like he wants to become a web developer and then pivot to that, because he's saying he's decided to learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, and Bootstrap. What I've accomplished: decided to go all in, stopped working in June. If you're thinking about, hey, should I quit my job to focus just on code? I would discourage that. I think having a job you dislike, if that's one of the reasons you want to get into code, I think that provides you with a lot of negative emotional leverage, and you can use that to make yourself study code. I've said this in a lot of videos, but when I was working at a call center, I'd get home and I'd just be tired, want to play Fortnite and just eat crappy food, and I'd think, all right, I can play Fortnite and just mess around, or I can study code and that'll help me get out of this job faster. And oftentimes that was enough to push me to just sit down and watch Team Treehouse videos, build projects, and kind of progress in the tech stuff. Troubles, worries, networking. Oh yeah, sorry. Decided to go all in and he quit. I've been studying CSS and JavaScript the past 3 months. Cool. He's been doing tutorials and courses. So, okay, I am just now starting to build projects and put practice. Okay, good. Yeah, so that's one of the big things. A lot of people get stuck in tutorial hell where they don't actually start building projects. That's an important thing. You need to start building projects on your own, preferably, after you've got notes of like, hey, this is how the language works. It's kind of like, networking. I am currently struggling with networking. I would describe myself as an extremely fit, reserved, quiet person whose communication skills are mediocre. Yeah, I feel like that's a lot of devs nowadays. I mean, there definitely, that might be just me projecting my personality because I'm kind of fit. I'm bigger than I used to be, but I was reserved and quiet and had mediocre communication skills. But like I've worked on all of that and all of that's improved. And like, that's the big thing, right? Like if you have mediocre communication skills, go out, get on meetup.com, go join like a climbing gym or go to like tech meetups or anything where you can be social, Toastmasters, and just practice talking to people and you will get better at it. I don't know what to expect if I were to go to a meetup or what to talk about. That's fine. Like I didn't know what to expect when I went to my first React meetup. And it's kind of like, hey, I can sit around the house and not network and not talk to people, or I can go to this React meetup, not know what to expect, see what it's like. If I do something like incredibly stupid and just like embarrass the hell out of myself, I don't have to go to that meetup again. It's not like you're required to continue going for the next 6 months. That would probably help. Like I don't think I'd let getting embarrassed stop me from doing something. But yeah, if you're hesitant to go to a meetup just because you're unsure about what it's going to be like, I mean, what's the worst that happens? You don't have to go back if you don't like it. What should I be doing with my GitHub account? So that's when you build projects, put the projects on your GitHub account, and that's going to be good because potential employers can look at your code, see like what your project looks like. Ideally, you have your project hosted somewhere too, so they can go see a live demo of your project. What types of projects should I be building? Since it looks like you're trying to become a front-end developer with this tech stack, I would just start off small with like HTML and CSS projects by themselves. Go do free CodeCamps projects. They've got some decent ones. They don't look great, but they're projects. And put those on your GitHub and then just slowly, incrementally start building bigger, better stuff. Add JavaScript in, add in React eventually. Any other advice on what I should be practicing? So I'd probably build like 2 or 3 HTML and CSS projects. Then if you can add JavaScript to those, add JavaScript to them. Otherwise, build 2 or 3 JavaScript projects. Then once you learn React, convert some of those JavaScript projects into React projects. I ran into a wall when I started trying to learn React and it just was not clicking. But when I converted some of my old JavaScript projects into React projects, that helped make it click a lot more. So definitely recommend that. And then you can start building React projects on your own. Also, make sure you get a portfolio because that's kind of like an easy way for employers to see what you've built and like play around with your projects, kind of get to know you a little bit. And that's where you can point employers to and say, look, I've built this stuff. I know what I'm doing. It's safe to hire me. Again, when you go the self-taught route, you're probably not going to get employed at a FANG company like right off the bat. You're probably going to need to go for like more of a startup, like a lower, smaller company that'll take a risk on hiring a new dev. But I mean, that's fine. There's tons of companies like that. And honestly, those companies are more fun with what I've experienced working at large financial institutions versus the startup I initially worked at. Like the team culture was a lot better there. And now like at bigger companies, you feel more like a number, which I mean, you also make more, but it's kind of trade-offs. Anyway, hope that helps with that. Hold on, we're not going to show that because there's a removal reason, so I'm going to cut that out. Front-end dev, e-commerce. Hello, everyone. I'm aspiring to be front-end developer. I want to focus on e-commerce. Greater emphasis outside of HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. Oh, okay, sorry. Are there any skills that I should be putting to greater emphasis outside of HTML? So somebody's recommending React. I would recommend like learning WordPress or Wix or some e-commerce site. I don't know. I'm hesitant to call it a framework, but like Wix is kind of like a framework, right? Those will make it far easier to build an e-commerce site. I'm assuming you want to do like freelance stuff, like find people who want to build their own e-commerce site and then build it for them. Having like Wix or something like that to build the site on will make your development process far faster. And then plus you can also market it as, hey, you can kind of edit this too, if you'd ever like to, or you can continue paying me on retainer, and I'll happily make edits for you whenever you request them. But I think that's, what is this last one here? We'll look at this help. Yeah, that's not a good question. That's just somebody saying help, and they're not providing any feedback. Make sure, if you haven't already, go watch my how to ask good questions or how to ask better questions as a developer. A lot of questions I get on Reddit or the Discord server or emailed to me are people just saying, hey, I need help with this. And then that's all they say. They don't give you like error logs or pictures or their code or anything. And you can't really do anything unless you see that stuff too. So like when you ask questions, just go watch that how to ask better questions as a dev video. But I think that's about it for this one. If this helped you out or you learned stuff, give me a thumbs up so you know I'm doing good stuff. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below or go over to self-taught or r/self.dev and post your question there, and I will probably turn it into a video eventually if I feel like it's a good question, or make fun of you, possibly. Probably not, but. And then also the Discord is in the description as well if you want to come hang out there. Again, my resume template is in the description too. If you want to get that emailed to you, you can get that in the description. And then I'm also working on an HTML and CSS course and then eventually a JavaScript course. So if you want to be notified when that comes out, also just sign up for my resume template and that'll put you on my course mailing list as well. I think that's about it. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with the cool stuff I'm putting out. We can be friends and learn. If you want to connect on any social media, all my social media is in the description as well. And I think that's about it. So I will see you guys next time. Peace.